I've had quite a few inquiries lately about 3D fashion design software, which I'm happy about because it means people are recognizing that it's a significant part of the future of fashion design. But there's always one question that keeps coming up. Which one should I learn? I've talked about 3D in the past in this video and this one. And I've been doing more basic tutorials as we're ramping up to release our online courses and to start tutoring. And as I've started to use 3D fashion design software more, I've started to see the differences and why you might choose one over the other. Now, let me first say that I've seen some amazing 3D work from designers using both Browzwear and Clo3d, which are the two different software options I'm going to be speaking about today. So no matter which option you choose, you're going to get amazing results. But today I'm going to talk about a few things to consider about each program that may make your decision easier. Before we get started, I just wanted to welcome you to my channel if this is your first time here, or welcome you back to my channel and thank you for coming back. My name is Mikkel Drew Pelham. I am a digital fashion specialist teaching digital fashion design and communication through my company, 383 Design Studio, as well as an adjunct professor at various universities, including the Fashion Institute of Technology. I talk about digital fashion software and design communication on this channel, so if that's something you're interested in, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. Now, let's get this video started. The first thing I want to mention is why I've chosen Browzwear and Clo3d. There are other 3D tools you can use, Marvelous Designer, ZBrush, Dash 3D, but the two pieces of 3D software that are most prevalent right now in fashion are Browzwear and Clo. And a big part of that is the ability to actually incorporate these tools into a fashion design workflow. Using the patterns to make physical garments, doing virtual fittings, making a marker. So if you're planning to learn how to create 3D fashion and use it to make actual garments for a fashion brand, these two are your best options. Though you will find Clo in corporate settings, I've seen Clo used more by independent designers and brands. And I think one of the reasons indie designers really like Clo is that it's great for visualization and friendly to designers who aren't as familiar with making patterns. One of the tools that I think is a game changer for Clo is the 3D pen. And there's actually two ways you can use this, but essentially you can draw your design on a garment or on an avatar in 3D. And then Clo can generate a pattern for you from that rendering. Now, of course, there's going to be a few changes you'll need to make to the pattern once it's generated. And if you're using the 3D pen on a model, you'll need to add ease to the pattern, but it's a great starting point and quick, particularly if you don't have pattern blocks to start from. Another function that I think is new designer friendly is their modular configurator. This is like a plug and play for you to create new designs, and it's a great way to get a starting pattern for a new design, so it's a huge time saver. I also like that they have that figure in the 2D window, which if you watched this video, you'll note that it's great to give you an idea of proportion and body placement when you're creating 2D patterns. The last major thing I like about Clo is how you arrange. There are blue dots that populate main placement points on the avatar body and make it a little easier to arrange the pattern on the avatar before you simulate and dress it. The only issue I've really had so far with Clo is that there's a lot of tools. So if you're new to the program, it can be a little overwhelming to open the program and see them all. I know I felt that way the first time I opened the program, but I also think about how I felt when I first learned Illustrator. Granted, it didn't have nearly as many tools, but there were enough that when I first opened the program at that time, I felt slightly overwhelmed, wondering what each one did. And what I decided, and I suggest to all of you to use the same strategy, is to first focus on the basics and the tools you need to know. And the rest you'll slowly learn as you start to use the program more, or you have new projects and new collections. And you may not know exactly what tool to use, but you'll know the program better and be better equipped to troubleshoot and figure it out. Or if you need to look for a how-to, you'll have an easier time finding the answer. Okay, so this is definitely not an absolute, but if you are planning to work in a corporate setting, I would very much suggest learning Browzwear. Now, again, not an absolute, and I had a quick back and forth with a colleague on LinkedIn about this. I know a few larger corporate brands like H&M and Urban Outfitters are using Clo. But if I spoke to 10 corporate designers whose companies use 3D software, probably 7 out of 10 will say their company is using Browzwear. So, what do I like about Browzwear? The first thing I like is the streamlined interface. I mentioned earlier how intimidating opening the Clo interface was, but when I opened Browzwear, I wasn't nearly as freaked out because there aren't as many visible tools and functions. The other thing I really like is that they have templates, and by templates I mean full patterns in a cloud library. This is pretty awesome because, like the modular configurator in Clo, it allows you to have a finished pattern to start from. You already know it fits, all the necessary pattern pieces are there, and all you need to do is make your updates to match your new design. And you can bring Illustrator and DXF files, which is how patterns are usually saved, in either program, but it's so convenient to have that library to bring in existing styles. They update this library all the time, and they even have a partnership with the trend service Fashion Snoops, so it's not just basic items in that library. It's really helpful to have some sort of knowledge of pattern making for either program, but you particularly need it for Browzwear. Whereas you can draw on a garment with the 3D pen and Clo and have it create your patterns, as of this recording, there is no freehand tool like that in Browzwear. So if you have no background in pattern making or even sewing, you may struggle a bit more to use Browzwear. But if you're a technical designer, a sewer, a pattern maker, or just a very technical fashion designer, you'll probably really like using Browzwear. There's also no figure in the 2D window, so you really have to rely on making sure your pattern measurements are correct before you arrange and simulate the garment on your avatar. That's not a bad thing because the pattern should fit the avatar, of course. But if you're using the program for visualization, you need a quick way to get your design out and draped onto your avatar, and making sure you have a pristinely measured pattern is not the most efficient use of your time. Lastly, arranging is a little trickier in Browzwear than in Clo. There's a guide that helps you figure out a starting point for arranging your garment on your avatar, but I find it to be a little more challenging than Clo. Challenging, but not impossible. In an ideal world, you would learn to use both programs because I think they are both valid, solid 3D programs, and I think each has their strong points and are great for different things. But if you're choosing one to move forward with, I hope my overall assessment has been helpful in deciding which is the better option for you and your brand. Whichever you choose, now is a really great time to start at least learning the basics. Yes, the technology is still evolving, but there's so many uses emerging and so many reasons already for you to use a 3D digital fashion design program. And I've spoken repeatedly in past videos about how, as a small and newer brand, it can really help you work more efficiently, more sustainably, and save you money. So just pick a software and get going on learning it. Thanks for watching today's video. Keep your eye out for our introductory 3D courses as well as private tutoring. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video if you find it helpful. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next time.